Sairam, everyone. Just to recollect what we discussed in the past week, I think my internet seems to be a bit acting up, so sorry about it. So just let's recollect what Swami was telling us the past 2 weekends. Initially, Swami says we should not pay attention to what others say. If they say good, also we should not be affected. If they say something bad, also we should not be affected. Thereafter, Swami goes on to say that we should not ourselves speak ill of others. We should not engage in that kind of behavior, as that whatever we discuss will contaminate us. I think we discussed quite a bit about this last week. So I think from that point onwards, we will continue where we left off. I will ask Sister Kalyani and Sister Narmada to continue. Sairam.
Sairam, discuss the good in others, not the bad. The good should never even discuss the evil that others do, for that will contaminate them. The stories of Dhruva and Prahlada will, if listened to, grant merit and show the path. And the stories of Savitri and Anasuya will destroy the roots of evil and strengthen character. How does this happen? What is the explanation? They are all holy and their carriers are blameless. Therefore, to discuss them and their lives is worthwhile and beneficial. That is the explanation. Some critics of good people justify their own carpings by saying that they are trying to connect the good people still further and trying to correct the good people still further and make them even better. No, they are really provoking the good people to evil and drawing that evil upon themselves. They are themselves becoming evil people. Never think about the badness or evil of others. If you can manage it, always keep trying to turn them to good ways and giving them good advice. One should cultivate peace of mind, the charitableness and eagerness to promote the welfare of all that is necessary for the attitude. These can come only through repetition of the divine name and meditation. The wealth derived from repetition of the Lord's name and meditation is good qualities, sadguna. Good qualities clean the exterior and also purify the ennoble the inner tendencies. Waves operate in the upper layers of the sea. They are caused by the wind. So the wind can be said to have that power. So too the mind of the intelligent person is full of thoughts and opinions. When the proper atmosphere is present, these spring up and roll in from all directions.
Thank you very much, Sister. So as we can see, Swami is telling us to read about people, devotees like Dhruva, Prahlada, Savitri, and Anasuya. In all these cases, they had to deal with many challenges in their own lives. In many cases, others were harming them. However, they stuck to chanting the name of God, as Swami says in the third paragraph. And through this, they not only they had overcome the problems which they faced, and God's grace was fully on them. And they have become beacon of light for all devotees for all times. So Swami wants us to spend time reading about them and be inspired by them. And that's what I have to add. So I will open it up for participants to share your thoughts, please. Saira.
So, Sairam, so whatever you said is very good insight thing. When you read the book and you will be cultivated good qualities. So because our natural trend is our the sense of pleasure. So that is causing all kind of problems. So if we take a infant, we don't need to teach the infant to how to get the milk from mother's breast. So same way, our natural tendency is sensual pleasure. So we have to train for that, because from natural to move on to the spiritual side. For the baby also, the mother tried to one stage past, she wants to give some solid food. The baby always reject. The mother doesn't despair. So try to give the food slowly, and make the food from milk to the solid food. Same way, our sensual pleasure, that is a nature. So by reading the books, whatever Swami said here, reading the books and the Namasparana will change our natural to the spiritual side. Thank you, Sairam.
Thank you very much, brother. Anyone else would like to share any thoughts, please?
In that last paragraph where Swami's talking about waves, so are the waves meant to be like, those are like the thoughts in our mind? And what is the wind that Swami's referring to?
Okay. I will, again, thank you, Sister Kalyani. Good questions. So I will open it up for the participants to share your thoughts. What are these waves and what is the wind which causes the waves?
So naturally, I think this ocean is supposed to be calm, then you can see underneath that one. If the waves are there, if the wind is there, the waves are always there. So our same thing, our mind have so many thoughts, so we cannot see inside. Thank you, sir. This is my understanding. Thank you, Saira.
Sairam, brother, thank you. Anyone else would like to share your thoughts, please?
Sairam, it looks like past vasanas or samskaras, no? It looks like that. So when it is inside, we will be having thoughts and opinions outside.
Ram, I think the waves, I agree with Sister Kalyani, those are thoughts. Wind, I would say surroundings. It would be like capital situation as the immediate family, the parents or children or your siblings, or it could be your friends or other circle you are moving. That could be said as wind, because those are the ones it directly affects your thoughts, words, and actions. That's my little the opinion on this one, or the little thoughts on this one. Wind. Normally, the immediate family members, they would be affecting us more than anyone else. Maybe the friends or whoever they are very close to us, they will be considered as wind here. Thank you, Saira.
Thank you very much, sister. Anyone else would like to share your thoughts, please? Okay, I guess, yeah, I think Sister Kalyani, the wave seems to be the thoughts and opinions. The wind, I think, is, as Brother Sivada said, the external impulses, external impressions, and whatever the world offers. What Swami spoke earlier, what others discuss and things like that. that is the one which goes into us and that creates these ripples in our mind, external world, anything which goes on in the external world. And I think that in the last paragraph, Swami says, when the proper atmosphere is present, these spring up and roll in from all directions. So he says an intelligent person will have good thoughts by, I think, cultivating proper atmosphere. We talked about meditation, the place of meditation, how we prepare ourselves. So Swami is, I think, talking about ensuring that we have a good atmosphere around us of people who talk positive things, who share things about God. I think those will allow us to generate the right kind of thoughts and opinions, is what I take from this. Again, I will open it up for anyone who may want to share something. Saira. I guess that does, okay, if everyone is fine, I think Swami is still continuing to talk about some of this anyway in the next paragraphs too. So we can move on if it's okay.
The Lord assumes the yearned for form. In the same manner, the Lord is manifest in the picture or image that one worships. But is this due to any special excellence of the picture or image? No. The picture, the photo, the image, these are and remain as picture, photo, and image. The fact is that on account of the intensity of the devotion of the devotee, the Lord cannot desist from manifesting himself for them. For that reason, he assumes in stone, wood, or paper the form that the devotee contemplates and meditates upon and worships. He materialized from a pillar for Prahlada's sake. For Vamana, he became visible in a stone. For Markandeya, he issued from a linga in order to fulfill the yearning of the devotee. Hari, the immanent basic being of the universe, will come in any form, in anything, at any place. Seek company of the good, avoid company of the bad. But you have to pray to the Lord with one pointed concentration. This type of single mindedness comes only out of the pure quality, and that again is the product of meditation. Therefore, you must cultivate good qualities, and in order to develop these, you should desire the company of the good. Your real companions from whom you derive maximum good are those who talk and discourse about the Lord, about truth, about service of others, and about love that considers all as equal. Association with such people is certainly association with virtuous people, for these are the real virtuous people.
Sairam.
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 Yes, Auntie.
There is a small correction here
Yes.
in the first verse, first paragraph. There he says he materialized from a pillar for Prahlada's sake. For Vamana, it's not Vamana, it's Vemana.
Yes.
Vemana was a Telugu poet. So its spelling is wrong there.
Yes.
A small information about Vemana. Can I say?
Yes, Auntie, please go ahead, Auntie.
Vemana was a great poet. Actually, he belonged to a very royal family in the beginning when he was a young person. And slowly he got into this idea that, these worldly things are not going to be permanent. So he wanted to find out a spiritual way how he can attain Bhagawan. So he has written many poems in Telugu. I have read them. But the last line always would be Vishwadhabhirama Vinaravema. He always used to end the fourth line as Vishwadhabhirama Vinaravema. That's how in Telugu literature we have studied. But it's all poems about morality. Just like Shatakam, we come across Shatakam of so many poets, So in Sanskrit also we have poets writing all moral lessons in the form of a small poem so that the common man can understand. So also Vemana wrote 100 Shatakam, the 100 poems is called Vemana Shatakam, in which he conveys the moral lessons to all common people. That I read it in Telugu, so I corrected it. Sorry for the interruption. And coming back to Kalyani's question, yes, thoughts are like waves. And how do what was it actually? Samudramu paibagumuna tarangamulu puttuno. On the top of the ocean, waves come up. Aa tarangamulunu puttinajadi viche vayu. The wind which blows over there in the ocean, that was responsible for the waves to come up. So she was asking, what is the wave? What is the vayu? That question she put. I think our thoughts are waves in our minds, and the external world, objective world, which creates thoughts in our minds, they blow up, and then sometimes these thoughts can become very strong. I'm not ready to overcome them. But at the same time, satsang is also there for us. The situation and the surroundings are also important. Satsang is also there. Satsang can surely take our thoughts in a proper way. That's why I understand. Sairam.
Thank you very much, Auntie. Thank you very much.
Sairam, thank you, sister. Could you please tell the rest part of the story from visible in a stone? The Vemana, he became visible in a stone. Could you remember that part of the story?
No, he was a great bhakta, that he could see the visible form of Lord in the stone. Just like how Markandeya, he goes and hugs the lingam when the Yama comes to take him away. And for Prahlada's sake, Bhagawan came from the pillar.
Yeah,
so for Vemana, it is a 16th century poet. So whatever is documented, that we can say, how it became in a stone, we don't know. But he was visible, Bhagavan was visible to him in a stone. That's what we come across. That's all. Thank you, Sairam.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. But sorry, I realize actually it was Kalyani sometimes back was inquiring about this, and Vimalation involved in, and we found out it is Vemana. And when I was reading, try to read in the internet, I found what you said exactly. 16th century poet, more than 7,000 poems he wrote, and some are in 2 lines, some are 4 lines. And in the 4 lines poem, the last word is his name is coming. And stamp poem, yes.
It's a signature.
And also I saw that there's some belief that from his samadhi is in somewhere else, same Andhra.
In Andhra Pradesh.
But in a different place, not in a born village. But from that samadhi, when was a heavy lightning struck the samadhi, that samadhi broke, and from the samadhi came a 12-year. He came in a 12-year-old boy, and then he went back into samadhi. He went back into samadhi again. That is in that story. But they say it's a belief. They say it's no proof, but it's a belief. But they say that it should have been happened, something like that. So in a stone, I don't know, the brother might be knowing that one sometime. Any special significance in a stone?
No, I don't know, sir, brother. I will do some research. And come back next week. Swami quotes Vemana so much. I'm sure there may be some other instance where he may have mentioned. I will search and come back.
Saira, Swami here mentioned that that one pointedness, that real fate for that devotee that the God is appeared in the paper or that stone and that the linker. That's the important thing is that full faith, 100% one-pointedness, 100% faith in the God. So the God will appear in front of you anytime, any circumstance. That's assurance Swami is giving that here. Thank you, Saira.
I did read about a story about Vimana and a stone, but it's just on the internet. So I don't know the validity of it.
What did you read?
So I read that, so actually that Vimana, initially he was kind of like a dull-witted person.
Yeah.
And he was with a guru, and he would kind of always follow the guru everywhere he went. And one time the guru had to go somewhere to some other place, and he didn't want the Vimana, I guess, to get in any trouble. So he told him to look at this stone and write the name of the Lord with, I think some sort of quill or something like that. And he said, stay here and keep writing until I come back. So the guru left, and Vimana kept writing the name of the Lord again and again on the stone. And then the guru, I guess, forgot about Vimana and was distracted, or took a long time to come back. I think maybe more than the whole day. But then when he came back, he saw that he was still there writing, and the quill had all disintegrated, and then he had used his finger to write, and his finger was all bloody and disintegrated as well. And it was after that day that I think he saw the Lord in the stone, or after that day he started composing these poems.
Yeah,
maybe that's, we all depend on internet. So whatever we come across, authentic research into these things, unless we do, we may not be able to come out with the proper picture. Saira.
Yeah.
Saira.
Sairam, I also have a question. We were talking about these waves and the winds. On that particular paragraph, there's a sentence. So too, the mind of the intelligent person is full of thoughts and opinions. When the proper atmosphere is present, they spring up and roll in from all directions. Isn't that my understanding is correct or not? But isn't that the proper atmosphere is the intensity of the devotion or something like that? Because why Swami is talking about the intelligent of the good people there? Because the thoughts and opinions of the intelligent people. Because anything to appear in front of the devotee, they must have a true intensive devotion. Then only the God appears in front of them. Why Swami is taking the intelligent people? Originally, he is talking about the other people, but here he's taking to the intelligent people. Sairam.
Okay, good question, brother. I think so. The word Swami is using is Buddhi Mantuni, like that. That's what Swami says. People who have Buddhi. I think the word intelligent is, I don't know whether it's a translation of the word Buddhi Mantini. Means one who is possessed of discrimination. I think
wise
the better
people.
translation.
Arun?
Wise.
It can
Yes,
be wise.
Wise people. So it's not, sometimes intelligent means people, we can say people who are clever. But it is not cleverness alone. It is, as Auntie said, it is wise, wisdom.
Wise, okay.
So I think that's the thing. And going to this Vemana story, in one of the discourses, I was just able to quickly check. See, what happened was Vemana has written many poems where he has laughed at people who worship the stone. So that is the way Vemana's compositions were initially. So he said, how can you find God in, a stone and things like that? But apparently, later on in his life, once his daughter died young. So what was happening was somebody he had a painting of his daughter. And he was looking at it, and it reminded him so much of the daughter, and he started crying. And he was treating that drawing or painting as the daughter herself. Then apparently it dawned on him that if he can see the daughter in the painting, the Lord also can be seen in the stone. So that actually became as a revelation for him. And since then, he realized that the everything in this world, including a stone, can bring out can help you in relating to God. And he learned to see God in every stone. And that's what Swami says in one of the discourses.
Yeah, so
but I will do for some further research side. Yes, brother?
Yeah, that's good enough. That's good enough. Yeah.
Yes.
Because Bhagawan has said it, no? So it's good enough.
Yes. So
he has explained it very nicely. Swami has explained it very nicely.
At the same
so
time,
it was a discourse given. If anyone interested, it's 10th in 1959. One of Swami's discourses. I think maybe in the first volume of Sathya Sai Speaks you can find. So that was what I could get. And I think, brother, it also says, for example, because Vemana was a wise person, even these good thoughts came to him at the right time. Even the daughter's death, everything is a trigger to think of the Lord. For the person who is wise, Lord appears, the good thoughts will come and enlighten them. And I think Swami is sort of referring to that also. I think that's Buddhimanta. Sahira. I will open it up for others to share your thoughts, please.
So, Sairam, brother, if you're bhakti, if you're love with the God, if you're yearning for the God has to come. So that means if the person is focusing on the stone or focusing on the picture or stone doesn't have anything because God doesn't have form. So because of his earning, so God has to come in that particular object, whatever he believe on. Thank you, brother Sairam.
Sairam, brother Sairam. Anyone else would like to share any thought? See, Swami in the last paragraph talks about so much about satsang. He's saying your real companions from whom you derive maximum good are those who talk and discourse on the Lord, about truth, about service to others, about love that considers all as equal. Association with such people is certainly association with virtuous people, and Swami has also highlighted that. Pointed
so
out.
that is very important, brother, because we have to engage our company with the godly, not with ungodly people. Because when you are with the godly people, you have some good thoughts and everything's going to be built up. So if you should not, the people are ungodly people, you should not involve in their activities or not to go and have a look even, and you are not part of the accounts also if you are in the spiritual side. Thank you, brother Saira.
Thank you very much, brother.
Sairam, when I look at the title, Seek Company of the Good, Avoid Company of the Bad, one day I have seen in the TV the children's program, one little boy, he came and told the mother that, today I have played with another child, and the parent told him that, don't play with that boy, he's not a good boy. And then the child told his mother, the mother, you tell me that don't go and play with the bad people, always have the company with the good people. Maybe similarly, the other boy's mother also would have told that, always, in order to correct yourself, in order to, change yourself, go and find a person with the good behaviors. So if that is the case, mother can avoid that little boy when he comes to play with me. Even though you branded him as a bad boy, but he still wants to have the good company, and he wanted to play with me. When I look at this one, I just remembered that one. The seek the company of the good, avoid company of the bad. Even someone, the maybe in the past they could be a bad, they branded as a bad person, but still that person is trying to get into the good side. Whether can we avoid that person in practical?
Sairam, Swami says that we can recognize the people. We cannot recognize the people in the appearance, no, that very difficult, because we are living together with all these people. The only way we can find out that pray to Swami and chant his Namasmarana and meditation, we can find the right people, Swami says. And in that way, we can see mostly our satsang and godly people. We can find that good people. So if you think that bad people, you can pity for them and try to advise them to bring them to the good, turn into good behaviors. We can give them advice or something. If we can. That's the way we can help them too. Thank you, Saya.
Let me bring up another sentence Swami has quoted here to complement Brother Rajagopal's comment. Never think about the badness or evil of others. If you can manage it, always keep trying to turn them to good ways and giving them good advice. Like, you don't have to totally disregard them, but if you could manage it, definitely you could do that though. Otherwise, it will be a service, I would say. Thank you, Sarah.
Sairam, so this is regarding meditation. So obviously, this is meant for spiritual aspirants. So the small children, we can find out bad or good small children, but he's a naughty boy, notorious boy, something like that. But we cannot say, oh, he's bad or he's too small. But for advice here given is that mixing with the ungodly, that's the correct word, actually, ungodly people, we had to always move with the people who talks about God and discourse of God, do discourse on God. So always go with the people who are always devotion, have devotion in them. Otherwise, if you mix with the people who are thinking of business, earning money, and whatever the way, it does not matter, but earn the money, and so many people are like that. So that should be better avoided. But if the person could be corrected and advised, Baba is suggesting to do that. Yeah. Then Baba is saying, now you go on, don't do that. You trust, believe God as your friend, everything. Depends on God only. Instead of, it's difficult for you to find out good, bad, and advising and everything. No? So wherever possible, advise it. Otherwise, think of God only. As in the latter passages, he is saying that. Yeah, that always, that even in the Bhaja Govindam, there's one sloga is totally saying that first thing for spiritual development is good company. Sadhus, satsang. So only that leads to self-realization. I think many brothers might know, and Sister Manivashi might be knowing that full Bhaja Govindam, that Nisana, Satsangatve, Nisangatve, Samagam, something like that. So I after finishing, brother can tell us. So the prime motive here is we need sadhu, good company, sadhu like people. Huh? That will be an immense help for our spiritual development. I will stop with this one, and brother or sister can say that. Then thank you, sir.
Sangatve nisangatvam, nisangatve nirmotsadam.
Yeah.
Nirmohatvam.
Nirmohatvam.
Jivan mutti.
Nirmohatvam nischala tattvam.
Yeah.
Nischala tattva jivan mutti.
Nischala tattve jivan mukti. Yeah.
Sairam, brother. I think here the bank company is again refer back to original question, the wind and the waves, right? The wind is the atmosphere. The bad company, Swami doesn't want the atmosphere to be in the bad side. Then if you are in the bad side, then you cannot concentrate. So for the meditation purpose, as Brother Sivadas mentioned, is for the spiritual aspirant Swami is saying about, and the meditation purpose. And at the beginning itself, Swami says, in order to see the good things, like thoughts supposed to be calm, for that the wind is the cause. Wind is the cause mean that's the one we saying the atmosphere come to the bad to differentiate the good company and bad company. That's the way I think here. Thank you, Sairam.
Yeah.
Just a question based on even what Auntie Aruna just asked too. So Swami saying the wind, when the wind is like the proper atmosphere, it will cause all of these thoughts and opinions to come up in the mind of the wise person. But aren't we also trying to kind of reduce the amount of thoughts and activity of the mind? So even when we're in the company of good people, sometimes just being in that company, being around other people, like their thoughts also will influence our thoughts, and we may have more turbulent, I guess, waves. Whereas if we just are by ourselves, our mind may be a bit calmer.
Yes, Kalyani, I think reduce our number of thoughts, increase the quality of thoughts. That's what is always said. So the quality of thoughts can always be, we can raise to that level where, our thoughts are qualitative, and it helps us to go on our spiritual journey a little better. Saira.
Anyone else would like to share any thoughts, please?
The good and bad people is everywhere. No? That Swami says that you have to reconnect the people. No? Sometimes to do that. We are thinking that sometimes the bad people, they are doing good because they are not going to the temple or they are not praying to God, but they are doing service, good people, service to the man. No, there are stories like that. So one man was not going to that temple or church anywhere, that he only do that service to needless. He was, that's what Swami was telling the small Sunakata that one time he was going to that house, there was angels writing a list. Then he was asking that my name is there, that I am doing, I don't do any bad things to other people. So that the angel was writing the list for that people, those who are loving God. No, then the angel said, no, I can't find your name in the list. The another time he was going, the same angel was writing in the list. That time he was asking, is that name? When he was asking what's the list for today, then she was telling that those who are loving by God.
Yeah.
Then he was asking that, do I have my name in the list? Then she was telling that your name is in the top of the list.
Yeah.
So we cannot say that these people are bad, that people is good. No, that is, sometimes we are believing that good people, they are not good. But I don't know that. That's why Swami says that pray to me and find out the people. Thank you, Saira.
Sairam, brother, I think when a person is about to service itself, their good qualities, the godly qualities comes out. So service to man, serves to God. So that way, that person's comes into the indirectly, he is serving a God. So it's all the creation is from God,
Yeah,
and he's serving. That's mean he is in a
It's good.
Based on Swami's code, he is serving the God, and he is in a good company, a good side of it. Thank you.
that's true. That's true. But we cannot recognize him, no? That's God only can recognize that.
So Sairam, brother, in my concern is some exceptions are there, but what Swami is saying, you have to be with the godly people. Don't involve with the ungodly people. If the person doesn't understand or he doesn't believe God, you cannot say anytime he can split, he can drop. So whatever Swami is saying, be with the godly people in order to avoid any issues. Thank you, Sairam, brother.
Sairam, actually, it is a poem, Baba, Abu Ben Adam. That's the name of the poem that Brother Rajagopal was mentioning.
That's right.
So, yeah, Abu Ben Adam, actually, so he's only serving the people. So the angels angels in the second list, when the angel was writing, and he had a dream, a vision. No? So in the second vision, when he asked the angels, he said, "Lo, your name is on the top of the list. Whom Lord love."
Yeah, God
First
love.
list is people love.
Love God, yeah.
So that is true. But that also Baba told the story. And brother, I think, brother in the discourse, in the discussion here, Brother Arnodian said, you know that in the Lion Club and so many clubs are there. They are doing good work, no? So they are doing good work. They are good actually. They are doing good, but that will not be enough to a final destination. Reaching the God enough. At least in the latter part of the life or the next birth, they will have to be born in such a surrounding where they can develop love towards God.
Yes.
So yeah, that fact also there. But as Sister Aruna said, when they are doing service, sincere service without looking for name and fame, that people are godly actually. They have that inkling in that if they are working for without name and fame. So there's a small minute thing is there that the godly company is as stressed by Sankaracharya and the Bhajagovindam. Even in the Ramana Maharishi says, Sadhukalavar Sahavasan Naninal, Edugam in the Niyamamellam. There's a song saying that when the breeze is blowing, what use is there for a fan? Likewise, when we are joining with, when we are associating with good people, there's no need for spiritual discipline. That is a poem, Ramana Maharishi poem, saying you don't need to do any discipline when you are associating with godly. So to such extent, the association with the godly people is stressed. So the Shankaracharya and Ramana Maharshi and Bhagawan, everybody is saying that we have to move and go along with people who talk about God and such thing. There is something is there, Sai.
Sairam, in addition to Brother Sivadas, yes, we studied before, even the people who don't believe and serving other people, at one point of time, they have to realize there is a God, not
Yes,
even this
yeah, that's
birth
right.
or next birth, okay?
Yeah,
That's
that's
one
right.
of the things we studied. And the people going to centers and church or temple, only people, at one point, I can remember Brother Aruna only said, the car which needs repair only has to go to the garage, okay? Otherwise, that's one of the things. So the people need to go to that. So whoever really wants to practice. But if a person is doing everything good within themselves and they are praying within themselves, they don't need to go to a church or centers. Thank you, Saira.
Anyone else would like to share any thoughts, please?
Sairam, I also want to mention this, what Swami is talking about, the good people. He's on this second paragraph on this last 3-4 sentences, bringing what Swami's definition of the satsang, the good people is. We don't have to elaborate on a lot on the other things. Your real companions from whom you derive the maximum good are those who talk and discourse about the Lord, about truth, about the service of others, and about love that considers all as equal. So these definitions, this defines the satsang that the good people that we should be accompanying to. That will also take us with them, like we will be taking their quality in us. That's my understanding on this one.
Yeah, that's a definition. That's a definition Bhagavan given. Yeah.
Sairam,
Yeah.
this is Balanti here.
Yeah.
Swami quotes an example for how an association can affect us in our spiritual life. He says if a dust particles are connected or comes in contact with wind or air, it goes up. And when it comes in contact with water, it goes down. So likewise, with good association, we progress in our spiritual journey. Otherwise, we are demotivated. Thank you, Saira.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Auntie. Anyone else has something to say, please? I think it was a very good discussion in all around. But I thought I will just maybe just touch upon a few points. I think the first point I would start with is Sister Ananti's question of the child saying, Mother, if that child wants to meet a good person, why can't I be the good person? I think this is everyone, comes, we are good, so we will do good for others. Let's be the good person who helps the world. Swami has addressed this in a few discourses. What Swami says is, if you're a small matchstick and it's lit, if it falls into the wet grass, it will go off. But if even as anything wet, even if you throw in a fire which is blazing, that will burn. Even plants which are green will burn if the flame is so powerful. So he says, until you know that you are that flame, you have to be careful because you may be the matchstick. So I think that's the first thing which people have to understand. Where are we? Is something, what is our level of goodness? We should know. Swami also uses the word, if you have 1 liter of water and if you pour it into 10 liters of milk, it becomes 11 liters of milk. But if you have 1 liter of milk and you pour it into 10 liters of water, that can only be called water. So he has given these two. So he says not only the goodness, the quality and the quantity of that goodness should be very good before we even dream that it's okay for us to reform the world. I think that's one thing Swami has said, so I thought I'll just touch upon. Then the second thing is people who are loved by God and people who love God. The reality is we don't know who God loves, but we can at least figure out who loves God. That is visible to us. So the thing is, we can't be gods trying to say, oh, this person is a good person. But if the person is engaging in something related to the God, at least in that activity, which we can take part. For example, if everyone is gathering for singing bhajan, we can attend the bhajan. Because the bhajan is the one which maybe is good. A temple may be the best. So I think we can only work with what we don't know who God loves, but we can at least figure out who loves God based on what activity they are engaged in and how much importance they're giving to God. Okay, so it may be very difficult for us to judge and evaluate people who don't externally show that they love God. We don't have to say that they are bad people, but we may not be able to do. I think that's a tricky thing to do. And there are many places Swami has said, many people say Manava Seva is Madhava Seva, but it's almost impossible to find somebody like that. And that also Swami has said. I think the Sandhya Nivarana, next 3-4 weeks, we will come across that and we will discuss in detail. So Swami gives a lot of importance to devotion. Okay, external manifestation of devotion, I think. So I thought I will just touch upon some of these points, which I thought, while listening, I thought, those thoughts came. But I think each one of us have to make our own choices, what we do, how. I think as Swami says, the wetness of the earth determines whether there has been rain. So the thing is, the company which we keep, if it is enhancing our love for God, then that company is good. If we are not improving day by day in our own love for God, then there's something wrong. We cannot imagine there's rain. The witness is devotion. If there's more and more devotion welling up in us, then we can be sure the company we are keeping is good. If not, we need to think twice about the company. I thought those are some thoughts which sprung up in my head, so I thought I will share. Not necessarily they are all right or anything like that, but that's my perception. Saira.
Thank you so much for a lovely explanation about the good company and the bad company and the example. Thank you so much.
Saira. Shall we move on to the next slide? I think, Sairam sisters.
Those who never speak of Lord, or those who are not even aware of Him, who are busy multiplying and strengthening the bonds of worldly existence, samsara, who preach and practice falsehood, injustice, and oppression, and who advise you to stay away from the path of Dharma, treat those not as your friends, but as people to be avoided at all cost. Theirs is the company of wicked people. Associating with such leads to communicating wrong against your will, uttering words that should not be uttered, doing deeds that should not be done, and consequently treading the downward road to ruin. People who fear neither sin nor God are capable of venturing into any wickedness. This is no cause for surprise. So seek the company of those who possess of these two fears. This is the true good company. The company of people who have not even an iota of these two is evil and should be dreaded. The aspirant must always yearn for good company, satsang. In that company, there is no chance for the growth of greed or for willpower. Iksha Shakti. To attain anything, whether easily available or not, seek and join only good company. Seek and realize permanent satisfaction and contentment. Do not distract yourself by pursuing temporary satisfaction.
Hi Ram, brothers and sisters. I think Swami is continuing the same theme. So I will just open it up for discussion because Swami is told quite a few things here. I think it's very practical in terms of application. So I will just open it up for some discussion, and please share your thoughts. Saira.
In Telugu version, it's actually Papa Bhiti Daiva Preeti.
Yeah.
Galavare Satsangamu. So the heading, the title of that paragraph is Papa Bhiti Daiva Preeti Galavare Satsangamu. So actually he comes across this in the company of people who have not even heard of these two.
Yeah.
So in the beginning he says, no, there's no cause for surprise. So seek the company of those possessed of those two fears. One is fear, one is love. Not both are fear.
Yeah.
I think we came across this.
Yes, quite a few translations. It's the problem.
Yeah, it's not two fears. Papa Bhiti Daiva Preeti should be there.
Yeah. Yeah, but sometimes they do like that. You're correct. Yeah.
Sai Ram and Sanganidhi too.
Yeah, Sanganidhi.
The places it is given as 3.
Yeah, 3.
Yeah.
So the definition of good people, fear of sin and love of God. These are the 2 elements should be there. Should be there. So if one of these is missing, we cannot take it as a good company. And the definition for company to be avoided also given on the top paragraph. Those who never speak of the Lord, or those who are not even aware of Him, who are busy multiplying and strengthening the bonds of worldly existence, who preach and practice falsehood, injustice, and oppression, and who advise you to stray away from the path of Dharma, treat those not as your friends, but as people to be avoided at all costs.
Yeah.
So the 2 definitions are given here on the top paragraph: company to be avoided, and company to be loved is this: the sin, fear of sin and love of God.
Just a question for was Swami saying that where is it? You should always yearn for the company of the good. Sorry, I can't find it now.
Second paragraph, I think you're looking for.
Seek the company.
Oh, yes. The second paragraph, the 3rd line. The aspirant must always yearn for good company, because in that company, there's no chance for the growth of greed or for willpower. But I always thought that, no matter, at least, in our current world, like no matter who it is, that person still is a human and they still have some weaknesses. So isn't it better to just yearn for the company of God? So even at the center, like though you think you may be in the company of good people, sometimes there is the growth of greed and people wanting to do things or get different power or things like that. So, I mean, should we really be yearning so much for good company when we can just try to yearn for the company of God alone?
Yes, Sairam. And that is what is given in the next paragraph, I think, on seek the company of God. But as you said, we discussed this one in earlier satsang. We know Canada, in country like Canada, Western countries or not Western, Canada, we cannot see the pious people, sadhus. Sadhus are pious people, they have always remembering God and meditation, repetition, name of God, singing the glory of God, like that. So those people are not found here actually. So at one time, you remember, at time I said that we have only, brother, I don't know, for example like that, So these very difficult to find. So that's what Bhagavan is giving, the third option, to seek the good company of the God alone. Yeah. Sairam.
So, Sairam, brother, so according to that one, if you are in that society, satsang society, that 99% you can be in the good environment. But some people don't get those kind of opportunity because of their merit. So in that case, if they don't get anything, those kind of environment, they have to believe on only God, not other people who don't involve in the God activities or ungodly people. Thank you, Saira.
Sairam, brother.
Sairam, brother, is a yearning for good people? Isn't it equivalent to yearning for God?
Yeah.
No,
I
sorry.
am trying to see if I can bring an answer for Kalyani's question.
No.
No?
It is given in the other paragraph Baba is giving. If you don't find it, you resort to seek the good coming of the God. But the first, you know that in the Bhaja Govinda, that is, Baba has said in many places, Baba has said that seek the company of the good sadhus. You know that in that Bhagavad Gita, Paritranaya sadhunam,
Vinashaya
Vinashaya duskridam,
Dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami
Dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. So the Lord is coming for the protection of the good. The good means sadhuna. Sadhana means they are singing glory of the God, they don't have attachment to the world, so much devoted. They are not like people like us, they're totally dedicated to the love of God. So that company we have to seek. We have to seek actually. So we have to seek but Bhagavan is too high for a company like that, for us. The Bhagavan came for you cannot be approached each and everyone. So but he gave Pada Namaskaram so many thousands of people. But the other saints they cannot give like that. So he is so accessible to people and at the same time inaccessible to people also, Bhagavan. So that is what he has recommended. The pious people, you have to seek the company of the pious people, God people who are doing only spiritual sadhanas. So that is the first recommendation. If it is not found, then we have to rely on God totally. That's the thing. That's what I heard and understood. Thank you, Sayara.
Sairam, I just remembered an old prayer that I used to read for Lord Murugan. கற்றவர்களோட என்னை களிப்புறச் செய்திடுவாய் என்ற ஒரு so I asked Lord Murugan to give me good company and Swami, Lord Murugan brought Swami and all the Sai devotees, for example, this study circle. Thank you, Saira.
Yeah, I can hear.
Anyone else would like to share any thoughts, please?
Sairam, so in the good company that the sages and saints, that's the good company, real good company. So when we are before them, in the presence of them, and their vibrations, their halo spreading and covering us, and our worldly thinking goes down, and spiritual thinking wells up in our heart. So such a magnet like people, that's what the say, good company people. So they will have fear of sin and love of God only. But for people like us, I cannot say I have fear of sin. For example, I say, because I had sometimes told lies. I have sometimes told lies, and sometimes I tell lies sometimes in such a situation. So this is not a small qualification. The sin, fear of sin, and love of God. So it is achievable by very, very totally dedicated people. So that's what it is. Thank you, Sir.
Thank you.
Swami says that find that good company is sometimes difficult. You find out that repeat my names. That's Namasmarana and that meditation. I will show you that good company. Says.
Yeah, that's good.
I think the section which Kalyani referred to in the Telugu version, it's slightly different. I don't know whether Mani Auntie will be able to read and translate. Auntie, if you're there.
I'll have to search for it. Please go ahead.
Okay, page 163, and if you can get, but I will try to read.
Yeah, padungo. Yeah.
ఈ రెండు మందుకైన ఎవరి దగ్గర
మందునికైనా కొంచెం కూడా మருந்து மாதிரி எடுத்துக்கூடாது. Even for medicines.
వెతికిన చిక్కదో అట్టివారి దుస్సంగం. Swami says if these two are missing even in a small iota, even to that extent, if it's missing, they are bad company.
Yeah, that's what
Swami says. కాన సాధకులు ఎల్లప్పుడూ సత్సంగము కోరవలను. You have to always seek for good company. అట్లు చేరుట వల్ల ఇచ్ఛాశక్తి పెంపొందును. Through that, they will actually gain what's called willpower. Through the good company, you develop willpower. అప్పుడు వారు పొందలేనిది లేదు. When you have that kind of willpower, there's nothing which you cannot attain. లభ్యమైన కాకున్న సత్సంగమునే కోరవలను.
Yeah.
So, brother, so in that case, the yearning for the good people can be considered as a tool to develop the willpower to attain God?
Yes, exactly. I think so.
That's what Swami is telling.
So that sentence where it says, in that company, there is no chance for the growth of greed. So it doesn't say anything about that.
Yeah. I know it does not say.
No, Telugu translation is different.
Yeah.
ఈ రెండు మందుకైనా ఎవరి దగ్గర వెతికినా చిక్కదో, அதாவது மருந்துக்காவது கொஞ்சமா மருந்து கேட்கிறோம் இல்லையா? We ask a little bit of medicine. So if these is not present in those people, we should not go to them. Attivari dussangamu, they are bad company. Kana sadhakulu ఎల్లప్పుడూ సత్సంగము కోరవలెను. అట్లు చేరుట వల్ల ఇచ్ఛాశక్తి పెంపొందును. దే కెన్ ఎంకరేజ్ us to develop our ఇచ్ఛాశక్తి. అప్పుడు వారు పొందలేని లేదు. They will attain everything. They will gain everything. లభ్యమైన కాకున్న సత్సంగమునే కోరవలెను. లభ్యమైన కాకున్న, what is that translation he is giving here?
Whether
easily available or not, auntie.
Yeah, కాకున్న సత్సంగమునే కోరవలెను. They have to go for only satsang. శాశ్వత సంతుష్టిని ఆశించు దానిని పొందము, కానీ అశాశ్వతమైన సంతుష్టుల కొరకు ఆరాటపడవలదు.
So that's okay. Seek and realize permanent satisfaction and contentment. Do not distract yourself by pursuing temporary satisfaction. I think they are the translations.
Yeah, that's the correction there.
Auntie, did you mention something about medicine?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you see, even see, medicines usually a small quantity. Okay. So Swami says, even to that extent, if it is not present in these people, treat them as bad people. Even if they cannot give you medicine of, that degree, that. So minutest trace of that is absent in somebody.
Yeah.
So it's an idiom in
Idiom.
Indian.
It's an idiom.
Okay. Even to the extent of medicine quantity is not available, something like that.
In those days, in olden days, I'm talking about, people would go to the neighbors or friend's house to ask for a small quantity of tair to make it, they will go and ask. Just like that, they will go and ask for a small quantity of some medicine which is prepared at home, indigenous medicine, which they would have at home ready. So they would go and ask for a small quantity of that medicine, like a child gets a stomach ache or child gets a some cold or cough. So they used to give a small quantity of medicine and they would go to somebody's house to ask for it. That's what Swami is saying here. Mandukaina.
Something that is rarely available.
Yeah. That's a tradition there in India. We used to do that.
In Tamil, we say, Marundalavum ille endal.
Marundalavum. Same thing.
Yeah.
There's no trace of anything of good quality in a person, just leave them out. That's what Swami says. So there should be at least a trace of devotion to God or trace of fear of sin. Even if that is not present, just leave them. That's what Swami says.
Sorry, brother, I'm missing something here. In that company, there is no chance for the growth of greed or for the power of Ichashakti to attain anything.
The translation is incorrect, brother.
Sorry, how would you translate that particular sentence?
Swami says, in that company, your willpower will increase. You will obtain willpower.
Atlu cherutavalla Ichashakti pempondunu. Atlu cherutavalla Ichashakti pempondunu. It increases with good company. Here the translation is totally
wrong.
Totally wrong.
So basically, your willpower increases.
In the good company.
Okay. I'm going to delete the other part of the sentence then.
Yes. See, this is one of the reasons, I had realized the importance of reading it in Telugu. Because what has happened, I don't know whether many of you know. See, originally it was translated by Professor Kasturi. But even that time there could have been some printing errors. Then people have tampered with these Vahinis without looking at the source. So people have come up with their own, their ideas have crept into some of the English Vahinis today, unfortunately. So that's why, we are studying keeping the Telugu also by the side and studying.
Yeah, it's really helping. It's really helping.
Okay, so Swami has made it possible for us to study. That's all I would say. So as Swami says, he will come to the help. If we seek, he will send the company. He will send the resources. So this itself is proof that Swami says, okay, these guys, they are so sincere. I will provide them all what they need. That's what Swami has done. Okay,
Sairam, brother, we are ordering English Vahinis. The Swami will come and help us.
We have to make effort, sister. If we study hard and we have questions, Swami will send the answers, and he will also make you suddenly, one day you will understand Telugu more than English.
Okay, I will accept that.
Actually, for people who are Tamil speaking, Telugu will be very easy to understand, actually. But it requires some effort to be able to read it, and because the language, everything is, any Indian language actually is much better in understanding Swami's literature than English as a medium, because the vocabulary is there, the thought process is there. So that's my view, personal view, Sairam.
So I agree that because always Swami speak, I understand fully. Yeah.
Yeah, I am assurance that 100% that Swami will come and help you if you ask by heart. The help will come for sure. Thank you, Sarah.
Okay, it's about 3:44. Oh, sorry, 4:44, I think. So I think we can close if it's okay with you all, unless somebody has something to say.
Brother, when you were talking about this the fear of sin and love of God, you put it something confused me. Can you please repeat it again? You say, I don't want to say what you said, but you please tell that what is in there. People who fear neither sin nor God are capable of venturing into any wickedness. This is no cause for separate. So, so seek the company of those possessed of these two fears. This is a true good company. The company of people who have not even an iota of these two is and should be dreaded. Okay, please tell me that. Please.
This iota.
You tell what in Marandu Kalava. So what is in Telugu?
So Mandu Kaina, see Swami Vetikina, even if you search, you will not even find a trace of medicine quantity.
Yeah.
People, when you search them, Vetikina, if you search, Auntie, I hope I am Vetikina Chikkadu. Even if you search hard, you will not find.
Yeah, correct.
The smallest quantity.
Yeah. That's correct. That's what correct. But when you said the slip of tongue, I think when you recording, you can watch it. Something you said differently.
Okay.
Now it's okay.
So basically, if a person doesn't have a trace of fear of sin, if the person doesn't have a trace of love for God, they consider them as bad.
Yeah.
For your purposes.
Yeah.
God, Swami knows what for Swami everyone is dear, but for our purposes, I think Swami wants us to search and then give up. Because Swami also uses the word Tyaja Durjana Sansargam. So that also Swami has spoken.
Yeah.
So, Sairam brother, I like that thing, God, love and fear of sins. The reason is, if the person doesn't have that God connection, he may going to do one day some kind of harassment, but he's going to ask forgiveness too by himself. But again, he's going to do the same mistake because he doesn't have the fear to the God, and he doesn't have the love of God. Thank you, Sairam.
Yes.
Yeah. We can.
Sairam auntie, you take something?
No. I'm leaving. I wanted to leave.
Sairam. So we are going to close.
Yeah, please close it so that I'll stay here for closure.
Brother, brother, there's an announcement. Kalyani, can you go to the first slide? Yeah. So this is some people may not have heard. Yesterday we announced this about the practical Sanskrit class, introductory course. So the registration procedure is given here. This is for only the people who are not within region 2. Some study cycle participants are from other region than region 2. So if they are interested in following this Sanskrit course, they have to send an email to this one, region2saispiritual@gmail.com with the following information: your full name, email address, whether you are adult or young adult, and name of Sai Center in your region, and what region you belong to. So you may not have the all details, but if you send an email, we can respond to you or asking for other information. So please keep this email address, remember this, and send if you are interested. And better you send it as quickly as possible. Thank you, Saira. Brother, you can finish it now.
Okay, Sairam, brother. Om Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Sai Ram, everyone.
Sai Ram, thank you.
Thank you, Saira.
Sai Ram.